Well, here we are.
What's up, man?
It's the first episode of the Hypertrophy Underground podcast.
Yeah.
This is episode 1, which is basically going to be like an introduction. So surely it's going to be a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Pretty convinced.
We've not really rehearsed this, really. So
we rehearsed this for, 3 to 5 minutes before we turned on the record button. But we've talked about it a little bit. But everybody knows me. If you're from the channel, Coach Rob here. And this is the co-host of the show, IFBB Pro, Tyler Goins. And, man, just welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to many episodes.
Well, and the purpose of the show, and we've alluded to it a little bit in some of the advertising, this is going to be a bodybuilding driven podcast.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's going to be, hardcore training. And whether you're a competitive bodybuilder or a bodybuilding enthusiast, if you just dig the sport, or if you just think we're some weird motherfuckers and you want to hear more about what weird motherfuckers do.
Which we are that.
We are.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding is a wild sport, and we're going to be extremely transparent in the things that we talk about concerning the sport, because we don't only want to entertain and talk about our personal experiences in the sport, but we want to give as much insight and relevant information to people out there so they don't do dumb shit irresponsibly. You know, we don't want people out there getting their information from TikTok kids and some of these assholes out there, because there's a lot of misinformation in the sport.
Most definitely.
Bro science isn't necessarily a bad thing, because some of it's based on anecdote that people learn over the years and apply that knowledge. However, there is some wild shit out there.
Yes, definitely.
So if we can dispel some of those myths and really talk about in real time what we do in our experiences, I think it'll be quality information for people. And, you know, one of the things that, in terms of main goals for what we're doing here, is I know when I watch podcasts, which that's about all I watch, you'll see a lot of coaches out there, a lot of pros out there that will give kind of broad strokes. They don't give nuts and bolts.
Right.
And I think that for many reasons, they want to sell coaching, they want to sell programs, they want to sell products. So they'll give you just a little bit of information.
Right.
And they'll withhold the good stuff because they expect you to pay a premium for it, where we kind of agreed we're just going to tell you what we know, what we do, and then you can take that for what it's worth and maybe apply some things and hopefully get some real usable, actionable content from us as these episodes go on. So, but anyway, I think the most important thing to do right now is let's talk about you.
Yeah, man.
Let me back up. The reason we're sitting here is because a while back, Tyler joined the team here at our private personal training gym, and we kind of hit it off immediately. We both have a love and a passion for bodybuilding, heavy training, and even though I'm the old man here, Tyler has a very old soul. He understands the
33 going on 83.
He understands the hardcore mindset. You know, I grew up in the hardcore 90s bodybuilding era. And I think it was kind of like that movie Step Brothers, where we were having a conversation and we asked each other, I think, who our favorite bodybuilder was. And I think we both said
Hands
Dorian
down.
Yates at the same
down.
time. I think, I think we just became best friends. So
I can't think of anyone that would be better. I mean,
he just epitomizes ultimate intensity, blood and guts. The hardcore vibe that bodybuilding, I think, truly is. And when I was getting into bodybuilding back in 1994, that's when I started.
I was 2, so.
Thanks. I was in my 20s.
Right.
I was into the bodybuilding scene, and you see these, you know, California bodybuilders driving around in the convertible Corvettes with bikini chicks around them.
I'm good,
Then I read an article, because Dorian just won his first Olympia, and he was trying to defend the title for the first time. And I read an article in Flex magazine, and he was just talking about, I train in a shithole gym in dreary-ass Birmingham, you know, blood and spit on the floors, no air conditioning. And I immediately resonated with that. And his entire mindset was, I'm just going to outwork everybody. And it was all just about hardcore, and it was over for me then. And, you know, I'll admit, I mean, I kind of like the freaky side of bodybuilding. And you remember the black and white photos in Flex magazine. And, you know, I was there in real time when those pictures came out. And the whole bodybuilding world just absolutely freaked out. It's like, well, shit. You know, what do we do?
That's kind of what got me into to bodybuilding, man, powerlifting, stuff like that. I mean, just seeing that as a younger person. I mean, it was very appealing to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because I mean, who wants to walk around with not feeling the sleeves on your shirts?
Absolutely.
I mean, who wants to walk around and not be able to potentially not, fend their family if something bad has happened? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
It's just, I mean, why would you not?
It's a presence. It's an aura.
Right,
and
exactly.
It's just, and for me back then, it was also the experiment, seeing how hard you could push yourself.
There's many reasons. Yeah.
Many,
I mean,
but to me, like, that's why I never competed until I was in my 40s.
Right.
I was a coach first because to me it was the experiment. How hard can you push the body? What limits can you push, and what can you get out of pushing yourself to the ultimate edge?
Oh, and people will be surprised how far you can push the body. I mean, you can really. People be surprised. I mean, it's people think they train hard until you train with somebody that actually does train hard and to failure. And that's another thing. You know this. You've done this long enough to know that people say they train to failure. That's not the case. I mean, no, that's just not. I mean, and not to take away from anybody else of what they do, but.
It's a unique person that truly understands how to mentally take themselves to that point of true failure.
Yeah, and taking your mind somewhere else.
Most people never get there.
No.
And I had to learn how to get there.
Right.
And it wasn't until I worked with some of those 90s badasses that I was fortunate enough to work with that I actually learned what it was.
Which was the best era there was.
It was. I still think it is. I don't want to be that old guy that's, saying get off my lawn, but, I still think the 90s was the best era.
Well, yeah, I think the physiques were a lot more appealing then. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So, but
and one more thing before we talk about you is I credit you for the final reason that I decided to compete again.
Right. Wow.
Because, I had thought I had retired. I'm too old. Yeah. My last experience was shit. And then getting around you, having another guy in the gym with me, it kind of reignited the fire.
Yeah.
And then as we talked more and your willingness to kind of help me and be that second set of eyes, which is so critical in bodybuilding. And we'll talk a lot about that.
Right.
There's a reason why coaches have coaches.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to that. So thank you for giving me the final spark I needed to get back into doing something I love so much. And it's the reason we're doing this podcast.
Well, it's cliche saying, but you're the company you keep.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
That's just what it is.
Well, okay. Well, let's, if we're done patting each other on the back and hurting our hands, let's get forward. But tell us about you. Now, you have a pretty spectacular powerlifting background that you came from. Right. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I first started powerlifting, I want to say, if I remember correctly, lots happened in the past 15 years.
Yeah.
I want to say I started powerlifting probably 2011, 12 roughly. The first person, and a lot of credit goes to him, and I hope he watches this. I think he's on our page actually on Facebook. Frank Beam, he was actually the one that actually introduced me to powerlifting and Flex Gym in Morganton, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I owe a lot to him. You know what I'm saying? He believed in me, and it meant a lot. So hopefully we can maybe get him on here eventually.
That'd be great. Yeah, we're going to have guests. Guests are coming, and we've got some lined up already. But and you're being a little shy about it, man. You've got some accolades. At one time, you were nationally ranked. Talk a little bit about that.
A lot of those squats. I was mainly a squatter. You got 3 lifts in powerlifting: squat, bench, and deadlift. My main focus was the squat. I'm 5'6", so that you kind of use things to your advantage. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, just like you do in bodybuilding. You use things to your advantage, your height, whatever it might be. Shoulder to waist ratio, etc. But some of those squats are still ranked in the top 50 all time.
Wow.
So but I think the highest squat I had that was ranked all time, I want to say it was around 5th or 6th at 165. And
you weighed how much?
Well,
165, is that what it was?
Well, it's a wide range. I started at 148, and then I went all the way to 198, and my best squat at 148 was 525. Wow. I was actually natural when I did that, so I'm not sure where that's ranked now. I have no idea. It's been a while since I've went on open powerlifting and looked. And then 165 weight class, I squatted like 630.
Damn.
So I was happy with that. That was actually my very first enhanced meet. So I was pretty happy with that. I was like, man, I like this. And then 181 class, I squatted 700. That was my first 700. I'm going to say that was 2019. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen 700 on a bar before.
Yeah, it's the worst thing about it was just unracking it when you're training, because you're already tired. You're like, damn, I got to take all this shit off now. You know what I mean?
Damn.
All these plates, you got 6-7 plates on each side.
Now, was that your max lift on the squat?
Yeah, it was 700. That's what at 181, that was my highest squat, was 700.
That's like Ronnie Coleman shit at 181 pounds.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just shy of a little bit of what he did. Yeah. And then the 198 was 745. That's what I did then. So I was probably around 190 when I did that, actually, though. Yeah, I wasn't actually. I didn't actually feel the 198 class out. You know what I'm saying? So I probably, looking back on it now, I probably maybe could have dropped to 181. Maybe. I don't know. It just depends. I had actually had some knee issues about a week before that meet, so the doctor put me on steroids, and I was holding like some fluids, and I was like, shit, I don't think I can make 181, you know what I'm saying? So some of that stuff makes you hold some fluids, and I had to make a weight, so I was like, yeah, there's no way. So I was like, well, 198 it is, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I think you did okay.
Yeah, I wish that, like, I think it was like my meniscus or something in both knees, man, they just, God, they hurt, man. Yeah, powerlifting was pretty rough on my body for the most part.
Yeah.
Which is actually, after that last meet in 2022, that's why I transitioned to bodybuilding. Just the wear and tear. I mean, honestly, I was like, man, I don't think I can do this no more.
Now, your path from powerlifting to literally becoming an IFBB pro,
right,
it's kind of a short window of time, right?
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
So what was the timeline for you? You hung up powerlifting,
right? You
start bodybuilding. What was the progression to ultimately becoming a pro?
Well, I'll tell you this first. Like my last powerlifting meet, 2022, and I think it was like October, November time frame, was when I squatted the 745 and benched in like close to mid 4s and lower 600s on deadlift, stuff like that. I was taking one of my buddies to one of his hip surgeries. And I want to say this was probably late November time frame. My buddy Chris Fine, I don't know if I've told you that or not, but he, as and some of you people might know who that is watching this, you know what I'm saying? He's very, very well known in the industry and stuff. So, but and he knew that I had like some issues with my knees and stuff like that. He said, man, why don't you give bodybuilding a go? And actually, a lot of people don't actually know this. And I don't think I've told you this, but I actually competed when I was like 18 years old in bodybuilding.
I didn't know that.
I did one of Kevin's shows. It was actually, I don't know if it was the Victory or the, I'm not really sure. It was.
And Kevin is a local promoter.
Yes.
Puts on great shows.
Yes, yeah. A lot of North Carolina and South Carolina bodybuilding shows. He does a great job. I mean, everything's always well ran and stuff, as you know.
Yeah, all the shows that I had the greatest success in were Kevin's shows. And they were run so well.
Yeah, well, they always take all the pressure off of the competitors, the people, the expediters, and they just do a good job, But it was, I can't remember the show, but it was at Lenore Ryan. It was in the theater there. And
which is a local college literally next door to our gym.
Yeah, probably you can throw a rock and hit it.
You can throw a rock and hit it,
Probably hit that window right over there, so probably. But trying to remember where I was going with that. But yes, when I was 18, that's when I actually did a bodybuilding show. I didn't do very good because I was very small, you know what I'm saying? I just started training for the most part, you know what I'm saying? So graduated, and then probably 6 to 8 months later, I did that show. Dead last, so whatever. It is what it is. It was to be expected to an extent,
We've all got a last place story, don't we?
Yeah. Pretty much. I was like, damn, maybe this might not be for me. But so then that's what caused me to go to powerlifting. But yeah, I was taking my buddy to his hip surgery, and Lord knows he had a lot of those, a lot of surgeries. But and he kind of mentioned to me, kind of planted that seed. He's like, man, why don't why don't you do bodybuilding again, man? Because he had seen my physique, and he's like, just kind of touching base. Like, he's like, man, let me see your physique. I'm like, so I'd seen him my progress pictures, stuff like that. He's like, damn, man. He's like, I don't know, man. Maybe you should give it a try. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, I think I will. So I kind of kept it in the back of my mind. I didn't really say nothing to my wife. I was like, I'm thinking about this. So eventually, January rolled around, February, and that's when about that time frame in 2023, about February, maybe late January. That's when I started dieting for. Originally was going to do the Palmetto Classic, but I started dieting for about 8 or 9 weeks, and I was kind of fast tracking, my physique and everything. I just lost a lot of body fat really fast. I was like, damn, maybe I need to move this up quite a bit. So we started looking at other shows and stuff, and moved it to like the Charlotte Cup, which was like, I want to say 6 to 8 weeks earlier. And then I was like, man, I probably can move it even further. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like even closer, honestly, because by this point I had started dieting. I'd started feeling a little bit rough. You know what I'm saying? My body fat started getting low, pretty low actually. And at the time it was probably about 4%.
Damn.
And I was there for a while, you know what I'm saying? So eventually did some more research, and because my wife was actually my coach.
Right.
She did my nutrition, you know what I'm saying? So and that's when I found the Southern Tournament. And I was like, well, okay. I look into this show. It was in like Manning, South Carolina, which was not too far of a drive, But and then once I realized the show, actually, it would qualify me for the Junior USA show, And I'll keep in mind, I had no idea. This was basically like pissing in the wind for me.
You were green.
I had no idea. I was like, well, you get your pro card of that show. That's cool, Give it a try, you know what I'm saying? But I knew, like, from my progress pictures and my check-ins and stuff like that, I was like, maybe I got a shot. I mean, I never actually spoke like, yeah, I'm going to get my pro card or nothing like that. Like, I'm not that kind of person anyway. But I was like, maybe I could do good with this sport, you know what I'm saying? Because the older I got, obviously you put muscle tissue on and stuff. And that's what I did. I built a lot of my muscle tissue from powerlifting.
Right.
It wasn't from bodybuilding at all, That was just what I did. Cause,
that gave you that really dense look.
It did. It really did. Once I started losing body fat, it was a very good look. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that Dorian look, Dorian Yates look, But, went to the Southern Tournament, won my class in the classic physique and the bodybuilding portion. I won both overalls, So, and then which qualified me for, Junior USA's, and then ended up going there. I want to say it was about mid to late May of 2023, and then did just they weren't giving pro cards in bodybuilding, because it was a smaller show,
Right.
It is a national show, but it's a smaller one, but then I did classic physique and got top 2 in my class, and then turned pro. So, and that was a matter of probably around about 4 months. So yeah,
I'm going to do bodybuilding, and then almost overnight, boom, you're a pro.
Yeah, which
I think you took to the sport rather well.
Yeah, I felt like I had the genetics to do it. You know what I'm saying? I had, and you've probably heard this saying, somebody that has thin skin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of this could just be, it's just genetics anyway. You know what I mean? Plus, you start adding other things in. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I just had the genetic makeup to be good at it, you know what I'm saying? And I could tell once I started dropping body fat and started seeing the muscles kind of pop a little bit more, I was like, damn, this looks pretty good actually, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was, and now granted, that's not normal. So anybody watching this, getting your pro card in 4 months is not. Here's the thing, because you got people that first start training, they're like, oh, damn, I want to get my pro card too. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I'm a terrible fucking example of this shit. Like, I'm not a good example, because people see me and they're like, well, he did it in 4 months. And I just tell people, I'm like, dude, you can't. Please don't. I'm a terrible example. Like, normally you want to be a good example of people.
Right.
I'm the terrible example that people try to watch out for, especially for bodybuilding. You know what I mean? So.
But at the same time, you'd built an incredible
muscular
muscular physique. You had the genetics,
thing,
you had the height.
Right,
which gives you the structure and the width. And, bodybuilding is the only sport, and I've said this before, I remember back in the 90s, I'm 5'11".
Right.
And I used to regularly say, man, I wish I was about 5'8", 5'9".
Right.
You know, men never say that
Yeah.
unless they're in bodybuilding, because
sure.
they know if you're a little shorter, you get a greater illusion of size, you have more
most
width,
definitely.
you know, and typically you've better muscle belly connections and things like that. So,
it was.
but,
it definitely played to my favor. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man.
So boom, IFBB Pro.
Yep.
And the cool thing is your wife coached you.
She did.
Predominantly on the nutrition side.
Yes.
And that's her forte.
Yes. Yeah. She's very, very good with that. And anybody that's ever had a coach that's their wife or husband, for that matter, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. That's not.
It's not easy to be a spouse of a bodybuilder in general.
Well, then on top of it, them being your coach, like they're telling you what to do, you're like, God bless. I've really got to listen to her now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
or you'll have hell to pay if you don't.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
well,
and it'll
and
show when you get on stage.
Full disclosure, his wife's amazing, and I actually met with her yesterday. The three of us sat down, and you know, it's great to have that second set of eyes when you're competing, which that's what Tyler is for me. But now we have her brought onto the little team here. Right. And she's going to hold me accountable. So now not only do I have to have him assess what I'm doing, which is always good, because when you compete, I don't care how good of a coach you are. Yeah. When you're at a stage like I am, like 9 weeks out, you question everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And you always want to pivot this and try that. Right. It's easy to tell a client, no, do this, this, and this. Right. But when you're coaching yourself, it just becomes a little chaotic, especially the mental side of it.
Most
so to have someone like you just kind of hold me, you know, accountable, don't stress, trust the plan. Either you're doing fine or let's take it to another level. It's just very simple. But now with your wife, Heather, involved, I'm sending progress pics to her now, measurements, and then the three of us together can make some determinations on how we need to adjust the diet, because, you know, it was when you think you're on track and then somebody says, well, I think you'd lose 10, 12, 15 more pounds of fat. And you're thinking, oh, I only got 7 or 8 more pounds to lose. It's like, holy shit.
Right. And that's why, like you said, it's good to have another set of eyes that have been, especially that has competed herself for, my gosh, 20 years. Yeah. Naturally. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So then you have to learn about food. You have to. Like, there's nothing that's going to, like, you know, alter your physique. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because that's not in your body. You know what I'm saying? You're not putting it in your body. You know what I'm saying? So you have to depend on the nutrition, you know what I'm saying, to make changes.
And of all the levers you can pull, training, even PEDs, whatever, the biggest lever is diet.
Oh, without a doubt.
100%. And a lot of people aren't getting that in this generation, because they're watching these TikTok kids, you know, mega dosing trend and doing these super irresponsible cycles with very little regard put to their diet. Right. And in many, if not most cases, it's, you know, the excess of gear can actually bring diminishing returns, where, you know, if they were to bring some of that way down and find the minimum amount required, and then dial in the diet, keep their training intense, focus on sleep and recovery, much better things are going to happen, and you're going to have a much more polished physique.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's going to be better for your skin. It's just going to be better overall.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be a bloated mess.
Yeah, it's not going to be a big old water bag.
Yeah, you don't want that. So now, when that happens, then a lot of other negative blood pressure, just the list goes on and on. I mean, and that's not something you want to play with. No, it's a silent killer for a reason.
Well, do you want to talk about that?
I mean, we can, for sure.
Just briefly, and then I'm sure as the episodes roll along, we can touch on that. And whether very related, somewhat unrelated, or a mix of the two, you're flying high as an IFBB pro.
Yes.
You've got goals in front of you. Yeah. You have a place that you're wanting to take this, and kind of the sky's the limit.
And really had semi-show picked out to an extent. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So.
And here you are thinking, you know, I've got the genetics for this. Right. I've got my pro card. I know I can do this at a high level. Yeah. And then what happens?
Shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long story short. But, and I want to say it was what, September, October timeframe, 2023. Right. Went into severe heart failure. You know, so ejection fraction was close to 20%. if anybody knows what that is, a healthy ejection fraction for somebody is 50 to 70%.
Right.
And mine was really bad. So, kind of came as a surprise. But I had a feeling as time went on, I was like, something don't feel right, you know what I'm saying? I started getting some edema, in my feet and stuff. And eventually I was like, I need to go get this checked out. Unfortunately, I had to go to 3 different hospitals because people see you walk in and they're like, well, this guy's healthy. He's like 230, 235 pounds, 5'6", muscled up, This guy's probably healthy, I was probably the most unhealthy person, I don't want to say in the whole hospital, but it was probably damn near close,
right,
if I'm being honest with you. I mean, and plus wasn't a big medicine taker either, so, but yeah, man, that's, that happened, like I said, about September, October time frame, 2023, and then, was in the hospital, and they got me situated with medications and stuff like that, and my doctor at the time actually ended up taking me off of my medication. She's like, we're going to try to drop some of these fluids that your body's holding on to. I'm like, at the time, I'm like, okay, hopefully that works. I'll take your word for it. Yeah, that wasn't a good idea, I don't think so, because about a week and a half later, I had a stroke, where I had aphasia for a couple of days, basically. And I don't know if anybody knows what aphasia is. You can't actually speak. So
wow,
that was pretty scary. I actually had a 45-minute phone conversation right before that happened. And I went to go talk to my wife, and I couldn't speak. So
holy shit,
it was just like that. So it's scary. It's not something to play with, but that goes along with the blood pressure stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that you got to be careful with that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, because it's not going to talk to you and be like, oh, I'm high, so, and then you keep doing that for however long, because I think a lot of my health issues came from when I was powerlifting.
Right.
I mean, it's not really the healthiest sport, you know what I'm saying, to an extent,
But you're eating a ton of food.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
And it's not the healthiest food.
No. High sodium meals at times, more than at times, actually,
Right.
Every meal might be, my gosh, man, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, maybe more. You do that 4 or 5 times a day.
Right.
That's a recipe for disaster, with that high sodium intake and stuff like that.
So you went from the highest point in your life to the lowest almost in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
You had this fast track, very successful power lifter,
right,
fast track to becoming a pro bodybuilder.
Yeah, man.
The sky's the limit, and then just as quickly,
right,
disaster hits.
Pretty much, yeah.
But your recovery has been also
it's been really good.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, it's been really good. Yeah. I guess I just do things somewhat fast-paced anymore, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Do everything quick.
But yeah, everything, like I said, ejection fraction originally was around 20 to 23. I can't really remember. I have to look. But now I'm in the 40s. So, so I go back November the 4th.
Okay.
For my other echocardiogram.
And do the powers that be around you in your circles, doctors, physicians,
yes,
there is a level of confidence
yes,
that you can get back to doing what you do.
Yeah, most definitely.
And so far, everything that you've been doing has been working great.
Oh, for sure.
And,
yeah.
I see you in the gym. You're strong as shit.
Right.
You're looking great again, filling out, lifting big weight.
Right.
And so...
Yeah. It's just, it's always good to, if you're going to do a sport like powerlifting, bodybuilding, you need to cover all your bases, health related.
Yeah.
You have to do that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they kind of just, they're so focused on, well, I'm going to take this, I'm going to do this, and they kind of put some things that need to be first priority on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with you, I covered about 99 bases and forgot one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I really regret that. But, again, as we know, you live and learn. Mm-hmm. Don't make the same mistake twice. After that, it's just a choice.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
it's another thing why we want to be very transparent with people, because in any athletic endeavor at a high level, there is some risk involved,
most
and
definitely.
there's gear involved, and there's, massive training loads,
Yeah.
a ton of food,
Oh,
which
yeah.
isn't always necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, no.
So if you're not constantly mitigating the potential side effects by also taking care of yourself responsibly
Most definitely.
and doing, it's like what I alluded to earlier. So many guys out there, it was kind of different in the 90s.
Yeah.
Speaking of the 90s, back in those days, I hung out with a ton of top level bodybuilders and coaches.
Right.
You know, like the gym that I managed in Florida had like magazine cover IFBB pros in there. I talked to these guys all the time.
Yeah.
And nobody really talked about the gear. Nobody really, you know, and they all trained hard.
Right.
When you'd get these group of guys together, it was, let's talk about the phase that you're in and how you're dieting. What's your approach to diet to really pull this in and dial this in? Because that they knew then that was the biggest rock in the damn jar.
Oh, most definitely. Well, and as you know this, you know, that's the thing. These drugs don't work, and they are drugs. That's just, some people are like, oh my gosh, you know, that's right. You're taking drugs, you know. That's what they are. You know what I'm saying? It's a tool to utilize, you know, so you can bring yourself closer to your goals, you know. But those drugs don't work without the nutrition. You know? I mean, they don't. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like going out here and getting your car and there's no gas in it. You're not going to get very far. You know what I'm saying? So,
and then with the advent of the internet age, the TikTok, Instagram, YouTube era, you see these 20-something-year-old kids, even teenagers now, doing massively irresponsible things.
You see it a lot.
And the focus, like in the 90s, was tell me about your diet strategy. Now it's just, what drug can I take?
That's exactly right.
And that's a terribly irresponsible place to be.
Most definitely.
Because back to, you know, and some people don't believe this when we say this, but 100% more is not better.
No.
It's finding the minimum effective dose. And combining that with super intelligent diet, super intelligent training, super intelligent recovery, certain over-the-counter interventions, supplement-wise.
If somebody needs that, then I'm all for that. I mean, I'm saying, I think, you know, to keep yourself the longevity and to be able to do this, I mean, why would you not do that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
that's another thing we want to talk about on this show. We want to talk about responsible use of, you know, performance-enhancing drugs, but because there's a lot of bullshit out there, and I think people need to hear the truth about this stuff. And it's something I like to say, and I've heard it said before, in a performance-enhancing drug, well, first you have to have a performance to enhance.
Right.
And if you're not doing all the other things right first, you know, we both know people, even here locally, who have irresponsibly jumped on a cycle and look like absolute dog shit. Just like a puffy, bloated fucking mess.
It's a lot.
Whereas people like you and myself and others that we know can take half that amount. And because they know what the fuck they're doing. Can take it so much farther. And people need to hear that because it's a dangerous age that we're in.
It is. And that goes along with people training hard and covering all their bases with their nutrition, their hydration, their sleep. Like I said, these drugs don't work unless you know, do all the other stuff that you need to be doing to like set yourself up for success.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
well, when I wake up every single morning, and this is the honest to God's truth, and we've talked about this, the metrics that I look at, that I place the most importance on, the minute I walk into the bathroom, I collect the data from my watch. I say, what's my sleep score? What's my level of physiological stress? What's my blood pressure? You know, what's my oxygen rate? You know,
and those are all bases that need to be covered. I mean, you know, that's just
what's my resting heart rate? I mean, I look at all of that stuff and I follow those trends. And if I see anything start to elevate, then I take immediate action to mitigate those things.
For sure.
And that's why, you know, knock on wood, I've never had any issues. And because it's responsible use. And I think it's also, people might be shocked at how many people are utilizing some form of enhancement. Even at the just the hormonal replacement therapy level. And then they can even abuse that to a degree. You know, I know I worked with a guy when I was managing health clubs in Florida, and he was a highly recruited defensive lineman, got recruited highly for the University of West Virginia, you know, D1 school. And he would tell me these stories, and he said the very first day of training camp, when he went to the university, he got taken into his office where the position coach and the team physician talked to him. They literally slid a shoebox with a piece of paper in it that was filled with tons of vials.
Oh, goodness.
And
this kid's probably, what, 19, 20 years old?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe not even that.
I was grooming him to be a manager of a health club.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, make no mistake,
yeah,
everybody at this level is doing it.
Yeah.
Everybody at this level. That's why it irritates me sometimes when you get these fat armchair quarterbacks, with 35% body fat that are drinking cases of beer on the weekends and fast food.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, all those guys are on steroids.
Yeah.
Right? Well, in terms of bodybuilding.
Right.
Well, dude, your favorite NFL linebacker is sauced to the fucking gills.
Yeah. Or he's taking a peptide. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You wouldn't believe some of the things that professional cyclists do. These skinny little bastards are...
I think we've...
blood doping and doing massive amounts of EPO. And people say, oh, no, cycling's clean now. No, they've just figured out how to cheat the testing.
Right.
And that's what high-level sports becomes. And that's why there's not an emphasis on testing.
Yeah.
Because why? People want to see freaks on their TV.
Why would you not, though? I mean,
they want to see 300-pound mutants crashing into each other, trying to move a ball from this side of the field to the other. And I love football, too.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We both love college football.
Oh, most definitely. And best time of year.
It's the best time of year.
Coming up 2 weeks.
Yeah. And I'm, unfortunately, sad to say, I'm a rabid Florida State fan, coming off one of the worst seasons ever.
Yeah. What, 2-10?
Yeah. And... you're an Oregon fan, and we still get along.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about that. That doesn't matter. That's in the past. You know what I mean? That doesn't matter.
If the show ever abruptly ends, it might be because Oregon beats Florida State, like in a bowl game or something, and then we probably won't be friends anymore. But no, I mean, just to get back to the point, let's be clear. It's in everything.
Yeah.
And again, I keep beating this point. It's become such a what's the word I'm looking for? It's an epidemic with the youth.
Right.
The Instagram culture. You've got literally 15-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Going on massive cycles. Which is going to do nothing but completely screw up their endocrine systems, blunt their natural production.
Most definitely.
It will screw them up for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And people see that, and they just jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather be more clear with people and say there's a much more responsible way to do these things if you choose to do it.
Most definitely.
And I'm even sort of on the side that unless you are trying to be an athlete at a high level, or unless you're trying to be a high level bodybuilder, if you're trying to do big regional shows in the MPC, you're trying to get
a pro card
a pro card. You're trying, you're like, I want to win this qualifier. I want to go to nationals.
Yes.
Then
most definitely.
But at the same time, when you talk to the people at the highest levels, there is a lot of responsible use going on. But then down the street in your local gym, you got teenagers and guys in their 20s, who haven't even remotely come close to peaking with their natural production, completely screwing themselves up potentially for the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
If they're not 6 feet under soon.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, we need to bring that to light as well.
Most definitely. I've said this for a long time. I think somebody needs to have a good base if that's what they decide to do. You know what I'm saying? So, I think somebody needs at least 6 to 7 years of natural training before they do anything
100%.
like that. At least that. I mean, I'm saying, depending on that person's age, that doesn't mean a 15-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
No.
That means, the brain, I think, stops growing at, 25 years old?
Yeah, and some are saying now it's even later than that.
And so, you just got to be careful.
So if you're in your 20s and you're pursuing this, the best thing you could possibly do is to absolutely reach your peak genetic limit before you even ever consider jumping on a cycle. And if you do that, the likelihood of you being wildly successful is elevated substantially
at
that point.
Yeah, it is.
And
there's, as we know, there's bodybuilders now. As a matter of fact, the guy that's won back-to-back 212 Olympia titles.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen his natural pictures or not.
Oh, I have.
He actually just posted them on Instagram, I think, yesterday.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, some people enhance work to get to that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's pretty incredible.
He's an absolute genetic freak.
Oh,
and genetics is clearly probably the most important factor in this.
That's the thing. You can do everything in your power to be the best you can be, but like if your genetics are just what they are, which they will be, you know, obviously it's genetics, it's only going to take you so far, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I mean, and it's the thing, if you have a naturally wide waist, shit.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's just not, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
If your muscle bellies are short, your connection points are short.
Yeah.
You know, and when, I mean, let's go back to 1994.
Yeah.
I was a guy that had barely worked out.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit in high school.
Right.
And I was in a dead-end job.
Yeah.
My girlfriend just broke up with me, who's now my wife of 30 years. It's a happy ending.
Well, I'm glad I didn't say what I was about to say then, because I thought she did you wrong. I mean, honestly. Sorry.
She did, damn it, Nancy. Because, but, you know, there's an example of shitty things happening in your life that turn into a massive positive.
Yes.
So I went through a breakup, and I was working a dead-end job, and I bump into a guy at the same dead-end job who was also a competitive bodybuilder at the time.
Yeah.
And I've told the story a little bit. But he said, why don't you come work out with me? And I did, and he beat the living hell out of me. I couldn't walk for days. Right. But I enjoyed it. Yeah. I enjoyed that, and I think it was a way for me to get through the breakup. And you know, it was somehow it was just in my makeup that was good for me. It was my therapy. Yeah. But I went from 166, 167 pounds with almost no muscularity. Right. And within 6 months, I was 190 something. Yeah. And then after a year of training, I was 210, 212 pounds. Yeah. And I didn't know what a steroid was. Right. I never touched them. Right. And what people would say to me in those circles, and then I started studying, and then I decided I wanted to get into fitness, became a trainer and a coach. And this, you know, long story short,
pretty good
it worked out okay.
Yeah.
But what people said to me is, you could compete. And I'm like, how do you know? Because I had no idea. I just read Flex magazine. They said, well, you've got wide shoulders. Right. You've got a decent waist. Yeah. You've got a nice flare in your quads. Right. And you got those stupid ass big calves. So if you were able to fill that out a little bit and then condition it, you have the structure. Yes. Yeah. To be judged on a stage, where a lot of people don't have that structure. They got the narrow shoulders, like you said, a thicker waist. Yeah. Some people just genetically can't get a sweep on their legs whatsoever, no matter what they do. And they might have freaking golf ball calves. Right. So people stumble on to this sport. Yeah. Like they start training, and then there's that one outlier.
Well, there's things that start popping out, and you're like, damn, that actually looks pretty
It's
good.
usually some mentor walks up to this kid.
Yeah.
You know, Jay Cutler tells this story.
Yeah.
You know, they walk up to him and said, hey, have you ever thought about competing? You have the genetics for this.
Yeah, and that goes back to when I started powerlifting about Frank Beam, you know. Clearly he's seen something, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. I mean, I can definitely relate to that, you know what I'm saying?
So it's and like for this show coming up, I'm 56 years old. Right. But I still love the sport, and I love competing. Yeah. But my advantage is even though I have a little less muscularity now than I did in previous years, we've decided just focus on your shape and your conditioning.
Yeah. You
know, you've got a good shape, condition the shit out of it.
Right.
And like we talked about yesterday, if you're freaking peeled to the bone, you look bigger. You have the appearance of size. Yeah. So these guys out there that never get lean, you know, they're constantly in a perma bulk. Yeah. Think I got to be big. You know, they're 20% body fat, and then they go up to 25% body fat. They only cut it back down to like 17. Go on another bulk because they want to look big in their t-shirts. Right. If these guys would actually take a season, get down to sub 10% body fat once in their damn lives, then the response of the body, just from a physiological level, to grow is heightened significantly at that point.
Most definitely. And I actually seen a kid, I think he posted on our page on Facebook, was asking about continue to bulk or to cut.
Right.
And I started a comment, but my phone refreshed. Unfortunately, that's my bad. I can't remember who it was, but definitely drop the body fat, see what you have underneath it. It was somebody that was, I don't know if you remember seeing the post or not, but he was wanting to compete, I think, in the next year.
I remember that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Oh, you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But I went to comment, and my fucking phone messed up. I was like, damn it. I was going to comment something, you know what I'm saying? But definitely you want to see what you have underneath the body fat that you have, you know what I'm saying? And then go from there, you know what I'm saying?
But when I get a client, especially a male client, I'll always tell them, build from a point of leanness.
Right. No, but definitely.
100%. So let's get you freaking peeled.
Yeah.
Let's reduce the body fat, because all physiological responses are heightened.
Oh, yeah.
You'll produce more testosterone. You'll produce more growth hormone.
Yeah.
And that's why there's something, I'm telling the viewers because you know this, called a post-show rebound.
Yeah.
So when you go through a contest prep, you've been through 16, 24 weeks of prep.
Remember, I'm not that guy, but yes,
you're
right.
Well, not you. It's like 6 weeks for you, you prick.
Yeah.
But for not blessed people like me, 16 to 24 weeks.
Right.
And you stand on stage and hopefully you're 4 or 5% body fat.
Yeah.
When you come off that stage and then you refeed yourself intelligently, not shit, but if you... It is an absolute fact that the growth response is heightened almost to the point of like 80%. So if you have a lot of body fat, or if you start eating shit right after the show, it could be 20 to 30% muscle you put on and the rest of it fat. Whereas for somebody like me, just for example, like if I'm fortunate enough to win my class in October, take a day or two off, have a little fun, and then boom, back on, back to chicken and rice, but more volume.
Definitely.
Still very, very clean.
Yes.
Get back in the gym, go hard after a couple days rest. And then you have the greatest opportunity at that point to, for me, recomp some more muscle, maybe even build a little bit of muscle.
I'll be honest with you, that's probably where majority, I know for me personally, because there's about, I want to say there's about a 10-week window, 12-week window. Now, that was for me personally.
Right.
Man, I'd probably put more muscle on in that time frame than I did after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
it's a real physiological thing. That's why they call it post-show rebound. And what do so many people do? And I'm guilty of this. You finish the show, you've been dieting your ass off.
Right.
So for the next 2 fucking weeks, I'm eating everything that's not nailed down.
Right.
And then you swell up, you put on fat easily.
Yeah.
And then you're like, shit, now I got to go back to work and reverse the damage that I put on the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm so focused this time around, I'm already playing that scenario through my head.
Oh, yeah.
I've already told my wife and daughter, I'll take Sunday off, maybe Monday, maybe take a day or two off from the gym to recover, and then Wednesday or Thursday the following week, guess what? We're back on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
it
Nationals,
needs to be that way.
Nationals is 8 months after that. If I'm fortunate enough to qualify for that, now the clock's ticking yet again.
Exactly.
And I have an opportunity to become better.
Yep.
So if you are a competitor out there, don't let your coach let you fall into the trap of you finish the show, now just go eat like an asshole for the next 2 months and do nothing.
Yeah.
You need to be driven and committed if you want to be successful in this sport. To have that discipline and dedication to jump right back on and go after it hard.
Yeah, most definitely. Because you start eating like that after a show. I've seen it personally, and I know Heather has also. That creates a lot of really bad habits. Oh, yeah. That is not good. I mean, it's not good. That's all I'm going to say.
It creates eating disorders for some people.
It does.
I know a lot of women who come off a show, and then it's a train wreck for the longest time, and a lot of it is emotional and psychological.
Yeah.
And you've really got to pull them back in. Yeah. And sometimes
that's the thing. Like, you can only pull them so much because you're not with them 24/7.
Right.
Unless it's your spouse, that you're coaching. But it's all about choices, you know what I'm saying, that people make, and their food choices after a show. It's an important time because, you can go from, like you said, 4 to 5% body fat very easily to...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I've seen people put on 30 pounds.
Oh, man.
In a very short period of time.
And sometimes more than that.
And sometimes,
I've actually seen 50 to 60.
Wow.
From personal experience.
I get the feeling Heather wouldn't let you do that.
No, definitely not. No, definitely.
You got to have good people in your corner.
You do. You do.
And we'll save this for other episodes, but I want to tell my Nationals debacle story.
Yeah.
And when I was getting some bad advice, because my mental state was so bad, because I'd over dieted so hard, and I was literally a candidate to go to the damn hospital.
Yeah, that's not good.
My wife, who is not a coach, not a bodybuilder, but she's been around me long enough to know to question it. It's like, this isn't right.
Yeah, and if she knows that and she's not a coach,
then what does that tell you?
It tells you a lot.
Something's off.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. You don't want that.
But that's another story for another episode.
Sure. Most definitely. Most definitely. But I'm sure that we can make that episode 2 or 3 hours if we need to.
Yeah, we could. And there's a lot to learn from that. And and I'll just say this: sometimes, and you know this better than anybody, when you go through those failures or when things shit the bed, if you learn from that, you'll just come out on the other side better, smarter, more improved. And you'll be able to handle things that come your way, because I've seen some of the changes that you've made, and it's just been staggering.
Always learning, man. I mean, once you stop learning, it's very cliche, but
and we talk about this a lot, because we're in the business of coaching and training people. If I don't care how old you are, how long you've been in the sport, if you come to this from the mindset of, I know everything, I know more than you, there's nothing more for me to learn, I'm the expert. Then you're the opposite of that. And you're going to have severe limiting factors that's going to plague you for the rest of your career. And you're not going to be a good coach. You're not going to be a good trainer. I'm learning something every day, and the lessons that I learn, I then apply to my clients who put their trust and faith in me to be able to make these pivots from the mistakes that I make and the mistakes that I see others make. And it's just going to make me better at what I do. It's going to make them more successful. And that's
what matters.
That's what matters.
That's all that matters. I mean,
and you do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we go. My wife, you don't know this, but like on the weekends when we're sharing Instagram posts and articles and shit back and forth all day long. She's like, all right, what's your friend sending you now? It's like, what's your buddy sending you now? It's like, come on, we got work to do. And she knows that you and me are always sending literature and information back and forth. And then we'll even pick it apart. And like, that's interesting. What did you get from that? Is that something you would consider applying? Well, what are the upsides of that? What's the downsides of that? How could that be fit into your arsenal, or is this complete bullshit? And
again, always learning.
Learning.
That's just what it is, man.
But I think this is a good start.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, we're not bored people.
I'm sure this was like watching paint dry. But I hope. No, I think it was good. And here's what we want to do is we also want to get involved in a lot of Q&A stuff. So in the comments below, if you have a question, we do want to allocate some time in future episodes to answer your questions, anything to do with training, bodybuilding competition, diet. Nothing's off the table, and we'll try to give an intelligent response based on our real world data that we've collected and answer some of those. And if there's a particular topic that you want us to cover, include that in there as well. And we've got a growing Facebook group. We just not very long ago we started this thing with very little fanfare, and we're at
2 or 3 months ago. I think.
We're already at almost 1,000 members. So there's a link below. Join our Facebook group, the Hypertrophy Underground Facebook group. Follow Tyler on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and we'll try to do better at posting shit and keeping people informed. You suck at that, by the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad. I'm pretty bad. I need to do better. So.
You need to do better. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. We will be back very soon. We want to make this a regular thing. So if you liked it, hit the thumbs up, click the subscribe, make a comment or give us a comment and tell us what you think. And we'll definitely be back in the very, very near future to do all this shit again. So we're out.